Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. It has been very windy today. Not so windy that I'm worried about, I'm not worried about any of my plants or anything, but windy enough that I did come out here this morning to start working, and I promptly went right back inside because it was just that type of wind that was just annoying to the ears, you know. So I've been inside all day. I'm ready to get outside and work, but there's still a little bit of wind going on. So I am wearing my microphone with the windscreen, so hopefully that helps with my audio. But I wanted to get outside and I wanted to work on the zigzag planter. Yesterday, Jason and I had a very long gardening day. We got so much done, but we got this zigzag planter. First of all, we got the daffodils transplanted to the front by the street, and then we planted up the zigzag planter and it looks beautiful. So here it is right here. So first of all, we have the purple fountain grass that I actually planted last fall and I left in because I enjoyed it so much and I wanted to have it again this summer, this season. And I'm really glad I left it in because I feel like I already have structure in the zigzag planter. Then I also have this Diachondra Silver Falls for a little silver pop. So I've got the red pop, I've got the silver pop. And then I planted two annuals from Proven Winners. I planted this Artist Blue Floss Flower, or Ageratum. And then I also planted this one that's not blooming quite yet, but this is Superbina Pink Cashmere. And I just think the combination is going to be beautiful. I do have pansies left over that I had planted in there. They're looking beautiful, so I figured I might as well leave them. But as we get warmer, they're gonna start suffering, so I'll have to take those out eventually. What I wanna do today is I wanna work on these three white pots that I have here. We moved here in August of last year, and I had these three white pots by my pool in my last property in the backyard, and we just literally picked them up. The movers picked them up, brought them out here, and we put them there, and they've been sitting there ever since. So I haven't touched them. I haven't replanted them. I did hook them up to drip, so they're getting a little bit of water now, but all winter they weren't getting any water. These are the Superbina Pink Cashmere. These are actually what I planted in the zigzag planter. And so these are, these held over the winter and they're still looking so pretty. But I don't want to leave them in the pots this year. What I want to do is I want to cut these back. If the plants look good, like if they're not too woody or anything like that, then I think I am going to transplant them into the zigzag planter just so it looks nice and full and beautiful. But what I want to plant in these three pots, I'm so excited about heliotrope. You all have heard me go on and on and on and on about heliotrope, specifically the smell of heliotrope. This one is called Fragrant Delight. These are I got these at the garden center and you can see the blooms right there. They are so incredible. The smell of this plant, especially in the morning, is just the most beautiful vanilla scent. I can't get over it. I love it so much. Apparently heliotrope used to be a very, very popular plant, and then I guess it went out of fashion. I think it's coming back into fashion. I want to make it come back into fashion because it is just such a fabulous, wonderful plant. So I was looking up the history of heliotrope. First of all, I didn't know, but the name heliotrope means facing the sun. So these plants, I just moved them from the side of my house, but basically the blooms, the buds will face the sun whatever direction they are, kind of like sunflowers, which I just thought was so neat. They have really interesting lush leaves with really, really deep veining. And then these purple, I think of them almost as like mini hydrangea blooms. These gorgeous purple blooms, they come in other colors. Like they come in white and they come in a lighter purple. But I have to say, the other colors I don't think smell as good as these purple colors, the Fragrant Delight does. This is just the most beautiful smell. And I know that that's so boring for video, but I just couldn't help myself. I just thought it would be so fun to have these white pots filled with the heliotrope, and then I can come out and I can have my coffee in the morning on the porch, and then I can smell the heliotrope, and how wonderful does that sound? So that's my plan. I have these 1-gallon pots. I found them at my local garden center, and I'm going to plant 5 of these in each one of the pots. These get about, I think, 2 feet tall. No, 18 inches tall, 18 inches tall and wide. They say full sun to part shade. I had them at my last property. I had them gosh, I want to say it was part sun. It did get a pretty good amount of sun. These, like, look on here, it says zones 9 through 11. I've seen other places that say they're only zones 10 through 11. I actually had a couple of these that I planted in my zigzag planter last fall, and then I transplanted them out over here, kind of in that grouping of plants there, and they succumbed to the winter. They didn't last through the winter. So they're definitely annuals for us. I have been able to winter them over 1 year, but it was kind of in a more protected area. So I'm just thinking of heliotrope as annuals for me, and it doesn't matter. They're still so worth it. So I think I've told you all my story about how I discovered heliotrope. Jason and I, we went to a wedding in Carmel, which is a beach town in California. It is the cutest beach town. It's actually called Carmel by the Sea. That's the full name of the town. And they have beautiful, beautiful gardens there. And so we were walking around and we were looking at the gardens, and it was the morning, and I smelled this scent that was intoxicating. It was so beautiful, and it was this gorgeous garden, and I literally went around to every single flower in that garden, sniffing it, trying to find where the smell came from. And it ended up coming from this plant, which I found with a plant app, that it was called heliotrope. And from that day, I've been absolutely obsessed with heliotrope and wanting more and more and more of it in my garden. So I had a little bit in my last garden, and now I'm really excited to have it in such a prominent space right in front of my house, because I think it's going to be incredible. Okay, I think the wind is picking up a little bit again. Hopefully you all can hear me okay. I think what I'm going to do first is I am going to cut back these 3 white pots, which is going to be rough. It's going to be hard because I'm cutting off these blooms, but I think I need to do it, just 1, to just get them out, and then 2, just to kind of rejuvenate the Super Beano pink cashmere. And then once I cut them back, I'll kind of see where I'm at with the plants, and if I can transplant some into the zigzag bed, I definitely want to transplant. And I definitely want to go over here because this is kind of a blank space. We ran out of plants stopping here, and so I would love to have a couple more over there, and then maybe if I can just dot a couple more around, it'll just make it look that much more full. So I'll see where I'm at once I cut everything back. If it looks terrible, I might just scrap it. We'll just have to see. I don't want to do this, but I know I need to. Oh my goodness. They're so rooted in. I just don't even know how to do it. I'm just like at a loss. Oh God. Oh man, this is rooted in. Are you here to help me?
I got you.
My goodness. How do I even get this out? It is so rooted in.
You have to pull the whole thing out.
You want to try?
Yeah. Muscles.
Muscles. Ugh. So once again, I underestimated the scope of this project. What's new? So let me look at that. That's pure roots. I had no idea how much they rooted in. I guess I should have expected it because the plants were huge, but I don't know. It didn't register in my mind that it was going to be that hard to get them out of the pots. So luckily I had Jason to help me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look, so we got them all out. I was able to save Like I saved this piece right here, and then I saved one more piece that I put over there, but that was about it because I'm tired. That was a lot of work. So now they have all brand new soil, which is great. I do have to come through and I have to change out some of the drip irrigation because as we were cutting, I was using my my gardening saw, which was very helpful. But as we were cutting that, I was definitely cutting some of the drip irrigation just because I couldn't tell whether it was that or whether it was roots. It was all over the place. So what I'll do now, I have 15 of these heliotropes. I'm gonna put 5 in each one because I want them to look like really big, really overflowing, and that should hopefully be an easy part of this job. Okay, that was easy enough. I've got all the plants planted in. I got 5 heliotrope and I did 1 in the middle and then 4 around the edges. And I think that that will be a nice, really beautiful show once they all fill in. Let me show you a close-up of the roots. Look at this thing. It's just crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. I always underestimate my projects. So what I have to do now is I have to do the drip irrigation. So what I have is coming off the drip in the zigzag planter, I have this spaghetti tubing, a couple of spots, like look at that. I cut that on accident, but I think I can hook it. They still are fine. I think I can make it, you know, using landscape staples. I can put each one of these emitters on one of the heliotrope plants. Just because there's only 5 plants in there, I think it's going to be easier. Okay, so I've got staples and a goof plug and pruners. Okay, let's see what I can do. Buddy. This one got all cut up, so I'm gonna have to just replace the whole thing. You okay? It's windy, huh? Oh, oh, careful. What are you doing? Can you get out of my planter? Can you get out of my planter? Can you get out? You're stepping on my plants. So I've got the drip irrigation all hooked up, and then I ran the system just to check and see and make sure there were no issues. And luckily I was standing right here because there's an issue. I thought I checked it, but that you can see this is a spot that I nicked when I was trying to cut everything out. So let's try this again. I'm just gonna cut this and put a coupler. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna put one of these, can you see that? There we go. One of these right at that spot, and that should fix the leak. Okay. I'm just basically gonna cut on either side. and then come back in and connect it. Always check your drip irrigation, because there's always an issue. All right, check it again. Okay, so that spot's taken care of. That leak is good. And then I just want to check that each plant is getting water. Good, good. Oh, this smells so good and good. All right, that one looks good. One more, good. All right. So I do think I need to repaint these pots. These pots used to be blue, and then I spray painted them white, and obviously, well, I think I should clean them up. Oh yeah, I think I should clean them up, but I think they need to be repainted as well. But I think that that's for another day. I'm not going to mulch them today, I've decided. I don't want to mulch them. I actually kind of wish that I didn't mulch here, because I would have loved, like in the zigzag planter, because I would have loved to come back and check on it. And you know, that's a lesson, like I know that lesson, but I just wanted it to look all nice and pretty right away. So I think I'll wait. I'll check and make sure the heliotrope are getting all the water that they need. And then I'll probably mulch it in a couple days once I know that they're looking good. Okay, so the wind has definitely died down as I've been out here working. It peaked this morning at 11 a.m. We got up to wind gusts of, it said 35 miles per hour, which isn't horrible, but it's also not very pleasant to be outside. I don't know what it is, but when it's windy, I get like tired. The wind just takes it out of me when I'm gardening, and I would rather just not do it. I was planning to film a garden tour this morning for my May garden front garden tour, but I'm pushing that because nobody wants to see a windy garden tour, and I don't want to film a windy garden tour. But tomorrow's weather is supposed to be good, so I'll try and get it done tomorrow. But this is all done. I'm really happy with the colors that I have up here. I think they're going to be really interesting and really, really pretty, and I think that it's going to pop against the house, and I'm just really excited to see it all get filled in. So anyway, I'm going to go edit this. I hope the audio's okay. If it's not, I apologize. Again, microphone and the little windscreen, which I don't love, but it is what it is. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.